Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I'm Star. Baby, I was trying to get dressed, but I got a whole nother vision, bro. In this vision, I saw I saw this family getting ready to adopt this baby, right? They adopt the baby. They care for the baby. The baby become an adult and is ready to go out into the world. But this family decides, instead of allowing this child to go out into the world and venture out and start a life and have a life like normal people do, that's too good for them. They are going to try to sell this baby into slavery. And you know what's frustrating about this is, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I, not exactly the same thing, but you know what I'm saying? If it's a vibe where you know what I'm saying, you did something like this, you adopted somebody, and you feel like, well, this is not really my child, and I really don't want them around, and I don't want it to be a situation where they inherit anything, and I don't want, like, you have the power to take them up off. You don't have to have them on your will, and you also have the power to tell them the truth. Because you know what I'm saying? If it was a vibe where I was adopted, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I am. But if I was, and you know what I'm saying, the people that I think that are my family didn't want me around anymore, all they got to do is say so. It ain't no vibe where I'm just trying to force my, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to force my energy around y'all. I'm trying to force myself over here. That was never the case. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like from the child perspective, even though the child is an adult, that's confusing. How is it that you claiming out your mouth that you are my parent or you are my family, like my siblings, cousins, whatever, and but your actions are saying something else. In your heart, you're thinking they not really related to me, so I got to get rid of them. I got to get rid of them. Let me tell you about life and how I don't know about y'all, but I know me personally. You ain't got to do too, but you ain't got to do all that. All you got to do is say out your mouth that you don't want me around, and I'm gone, bro. All you got to do is fix your and let me know that I'm not really related to you. Bye, bro. Point me in the direction of my real family then. The scripture comes from Isaiah 28:16. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am laying a foundation in Zion, a stone tried a stone, a provision with Sheol. No. A precious cornerstone, a settled foundation. He who is believing does not make haste. And I have put judgment for a line, and righteousness for a plummet, and hell sweeps away the refuge of lies, and waters overflow the secret hiding place. God said it can't be a situation where you know what I'm saying, presenting yourself as this saint because you took in somebody's child or you did this, that, and the third, and you did all these wonderful things. But then when that child is an adult and they really, you know what I'm saying, should be going off and doing their own thing, or maybe they could go off and find a real family. Maybe they could go off and create a new family. You sitting up here trying to plot some kind of way that you can benefit off of this part. Like, if that was the case, why did you adopt them in the first place? What was the point? Why? And you know, you can't say, well, ain't no telling what would have happened to that baby. 9 out of 10, they would have found a family that actually loved them. 9 out of 10, because this baby, everybody ain't like this. This is wicked way. This is evil, bruh. This isn't the ways of somebody that is righteous. A righteous person don't move like this. If it's a vibe, you know, like honestly, if it's a girl, then baby, you should allow her to marry off so that she can have a husband then. And guess what? She gonna be a part of her husband family. And if it's a boy, then how about you allow him to get himself together so he can go and rule his own family and find him a wife, and he'll have his own family then. Because when it come down to it, children supposed to leave their parents anyways. So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, it might even be a situation where God himself is putting his foot down. Because it can't be no situation where you claiming that you're a saint and you did a good deed. Meanwhile, you sitting up here trying to do a wicked one. It can't be both. And, you know, in reality, there's some things that really can't. How can you be forgiven for something like this? Because once that person is gone, lost in the sauce, and you know what I'm saying, their life is ruined forever, how do you expect God to forgive you? What makes you think that God is going to, like, he's going to feel some kind of way about that? All the blessings, the extra blessings that he has given you because you were such a saint and you were taking care of a baby that wasn't yours, baby, that's going to come to a halt. And God said, if anything, comes in, if you receive any more blessings after that. And that's the message. And I do realize that there's some people, when they have these ideas, they sound so wise to them. Well, that do make sense. And they ain't really my family. And they don't really matter to nobody. They don't matter to you. But if it's a situation where you don't like that person, you don't care about that person, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane to me. Because it's vibes where I like, what I'm saying? I have met people that's in, gangs in a clique. That's, what I'm saying? My homies. I have met classmates that I see as family. I couldn't imagine raising somebody as my own and then thinking to myself that they would be better off a slave. That's insane, bro. That's not normal. And in reality, like most people that have adopted do, if it's a vibe where you don't want to take care of the child no more, you don't want them invited to family functions, you don't want them around anymore after they turn 18, how about you let them know that they're adopted so they can go and be with their real family? But it can't be a situation where you want to be known as their real family while simultaneously you treating them like they're a stranger. It can't be both. And there's somebody, what would people think? Exactly. What would people think about you selling off the child that you allegedly saved into slavery? Like, I just feel like this is somebody that think nobody is going to notice. Everybody would notice, bro. That's just like, well, after my car accident, I realized that you don't notice how much you use you need your knees and your feet until you don't have it. You don't realize how much you need something for, like, just for rolling over in the bed, just for, sliding out the bed. I couldn't do nothing until I built strength in my arms, bro. And some people don't realize, sometimes you don't realize things like that. Sometimes you don't realize who miss you until you're not around. And this is somebody that thought it would be a situation where everybody would notice. And that's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.